Hey there, Kipsters. We're looking at objectives 1B.9 through 10, looking at the distributive property. This is a property that's really important for algebra as we start to solve more complicated equations, which we'll do next year. We're going to start by looking at the poster that you've seen before on the distributive property. And again, I'm going to encourage you to look at just the word you see, which is distribute. If you think of distribute, I want you to think of, I don't know, a teacher distributing pieces of candy to all of his students. So all of his happy students who just received a piece of candy because he distributed it to them. Distribution means giving something to each thing or each person. So in that same vein, the distributive property is telling you to distribute a number that's outside the parentheses to the two numbers that are inside the parentheses. So whenever you have a term on the outside of parentheses that's really being multiplied to a sum of two numbers inside, that's the same thing as the first two numbers being multiplied times the second two. So clubs times heart is plus clubs times spade plus clubs times spade. Let me show you an example with numbers. If I look at 3 times the sum of 5 plus 2, I'm going to try to convince you that's the same thing as 3 times 5 plus 3 times 2, 3 times 2. So if I were to do the left expression using Gemma, I have 5 plus 2, that equals 7, and I still have 3 times 7. That equals 21. But if I use the distributive property and say 3 times 5 plus 3 times 2, it should equal the same thing. 3 times 5 equals 15, plus 3 times 2 equals 6. 15 plus 6 also equals 21. Both expressions equal 21. So I'm trying to convince you that the distributive property is a property of numbers that will always work to have the exact same value. Let me give you some examples. First, more with numerical, and then we'll look second at examples that have variables in them. If I look at expression A, I see 3 times the difference of 4 and 5. In order to simplify this expression using the distributive property, the first thing I'll do is kill subtraction, and then I'm going to distribute the number on the outside to the number in the inside. So I'll do 3 times 4, I'm multiplying 3 times 4, plus 3 times 5, 3 times 5. And actually my mistake, it should be 3 times negative 5, since that number is a negative 5. If I do that, 3 times 4 equals 12, plus 3 times negative 5, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. If I add those numbers together, the sum is negative 3. And so again, I just distributed the number on the outside to the two numbers on the inside to find the value of that expression. To show you that this is not magic, I can do this a different way using Gemma. And I'll do it up here. 3 times 4 minus 5. If I use Gemma, I should get the same answer. 4 minus 5 really does equal negative 1. So I'm doing what's inside the grouping symbol first. 3 times negative 1 really does equal negative 3. So this property does work to simplify expressions in a different way. I'd like you to stop the video here and now try B. Press play after you have tried and are ready to check your answer. Okay, you've tried B, now it's time to check your answer. You should have killed subtraction, 6 plus negative 2, and you distribute 5 times 6 plus 5 times negative 2. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. If I add those together, the sum you should have had was 20. Did you get it right? Good. Now we're going to look at expressions that have variables in them. This is going to allow us to solve more complicated equations when we get to algebra next year. If I look at this first expression, I see 3 times 4x minus 5. I'm going to use the exact same distributive property to simplify it. You're going to see that we won't be able to simplify all the way, or it won't look the same way as we did last time. I'm still going to multiply the number on the outside, 3, to the 2 numbers on the inside. I have 3 times 4x, 3 times 4x. I'll kill subtraction so that I remember this is a negative 5. So it's 4x plus negative 5. And then I'll distribute 3 times negative 5 plus 3 times negative 5. Now I'm going to multiply these things. 3 times 4x really is 12x's. Plus 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. I cannot combine these anymore since 12x's is not the same thing as 15 ones. They're not combinable. They're not like terms. So actually, this is my final expression, 12x plus negative 5. That's the simplified version of that expression using the distributive property. I'd like you to try B now. Press stop here. Press play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, you tried B. Now it's time to check your answer. There was no subtraction to kill, so you should have been ready to distribute 5 times 3x. 5 times 3x plus 5 times 2. 5 times 2. 5 times 3x really equaled 15x plus 5 times 2, that equals 10. If you stopped there, because you knew that you couldn't combine 15x and 10, this would have been the simplified expression and your answer. Did you get it right? Good. Now it's time for some independent practice. I'd like you to try these 5, and then you should be ready to submit your answers. If you do well, you should be ready to retake objective assessment 1B points 9 through 10. Don't forget to kill subtraction, and don't forget to multiply the number on the outside to both numbers on the inside. Good luck.